Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and start today. Thank you so much. I know we still have a lot more people signing on. We appreciate it. A couple things. We're going to ask that you type all your any of your questions or comments. Please just go ahead and type those in, and we'll be answering those throughout the meeting. And we'll go from there. So the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to see if we could go ahead and take a quick poll. And this is Chris Pyle. I'm with Champion Solutions Group and Message Ops. And Chad, are you there as well, Chad?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. All right. So today, Chad and I will be presenting. The first thing we wanted to start off with a quick poll to make sure that we have everybody, make sure that what the content is and who the audience is. And we really just want to figure out if everybody could just take a minute and who's utilizing Office 365 today. If you could just go ahead and just take a few minutes to, click on that and go through it, I appreciate it so far. I'll just wait a minute for that. And I know we're still getting a lot more people signing up, so we'll just keep going there. Okay, great. Well, it looks like so far, about 95% of you guys are using Office 365 today, so thank you for sharing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a great product that Chad Mossman and his organization, Message Ops, have developed. Champion and Message Ops have merged our organizations together to really address the Office 365 market. And we've had a lot of success so far with 365 Command. And really what we've done is we have really figured out a way to help the administrative staff of people using Office 365 to really get the most out of it. So what is Command? It's a really simple and affordable Azure cloud-based software. So there's nothing to download. It's a software as a service. It runs in the Azure cloud. So there's nothing you have to download. It's all up in the Azure cloud, and that's where it resides. So what we're seeing with why the rapid adoption of 365 is what we're seeing is a lot of people, while everybody agrees that Windows PowerShell is an awesome, powerful tool, you'll see that there's a lot of people who don't know how to use PowerShell, and they don't want to spend their time doing it. So what we've done is we created a really elegant, easy to use GUI to sit on top of that. So basically any level of your IT administrators can really manage your Office 365 subscription. There's a great Active Directory integration that we're going to talk a little bit about later. We really believe that it's going to help IT staffs be more productive with performing the tasks. It gives some fantastic historical reporting on mailbox statistics. There's a tremendous amount of reports that we're going to review with you today that you'll be able to use. And be able to also identify unused mailboxes in your environment, which in a lot of cases what we're seeing can help you free up licenses to put forward to those who do need it. We're seeing a lot of people, since Office 365 is a subscription-based model, it's important that you're utilizing and finding out who in your organization is not, really logging into Office 365. So a couple milestones, we're really excited. We had a beta launch back in May, and I want to thank everybody who was part of the beta launch. We had more than 375,000 mailboxes during our beta launch, and thank you all for helping us through that. We went live in February, and we've really had some really great success. We're up to about 522,000 mailboxes being managed right now on 365 Command from approximately 1,015 companies. So it's been really, really great, and the acceptance has been good, and we thank all of you guys for the wide acceptance. We've also opened up a very robust partner channel, and which has been great, and we appreciate that interest as well in helping us bring 365 Command to market. So just some of the features that we're going to review with you today. Chad is going to do a lot of the demonstration, but we're going to just show you a little bit about how you can reset passwords, We're going to show you how to set mailbox permissions such as send as, full mailbox access, etc. We're going to set mailbox folder permissions. We're going to demonstrate how to forward mail to alternate mailboxes, create shared mailboxes, and we're going to do a few other things. But there's a tremendous amount of features in there. We can't show you them all today, but we encourage you to sign up for the free trial, which you can really do a lot with. We're also going to show you today. Chad's going to take you through some of the robust reporting that you can get at a click of a button. We see a tremendous amount of people utilizing the security and compliance reports, mailbox sizes, archive sizes, quota usage, and many other great reports that Chad's going to show you today. So we appreciate that, and we have a lot more coming as well. So Chad, I think a lot of the people didn't want to come to a PowerPoint presentation. I think they really wanted to come and see, what 365 Command is all about, and hear from you, the visionary and the guy who's really helped them develop this whole thing. So, Chad, why don't I go over and hand it to you and see what you can do?
Okay, thanks, Chris. Let me start my screen sharing here, and I guess we apologize for some of the technical difficulties here where some people can't hear the sound. We'll make sure to get the recording out to you after this. So my screen sharing should be coming up shortly here.
Yep, it's good, Chad.
Okay. So this is the main dashboard screen of 365 Command. So this is what you'll see when you first sign into the application. And the goal here is to give you a quick snapshot of the environment. So you can see at the top we have some statistics such as total mailbox count, total mailbox size, total archive size. And this might not look like much, but in the current release of Office 365, this information is somewhat difficult to get unless you have decent knowledge of PowerShell. We also have some charts and graphs on this screen, such as how many mailboxes you have, how many you've added in the last 30, 60, 90 days, what types of devices are in use in your organization, where your what servers your mailboxes are spread out across. So, and each one of these areas will dig into more details as we go down the navigation menu on the left. So, and I guess before I go on, if you have any questions, please just message them. I will answer them when the presentation is complete here. So the other dashboard that we have is the Maps dashboard, which gives a visual representation of where your mailboxes live in the Microsoft Office 365 cloud.
Hey Chad, could you maximize your screen, buddy? We're getting a couple people asking us if you can do that.
Can they zoom in? Okay, I'll try. I think it is pretty maximized. I don't know if that's going to make a difference there, but I think that the participants can zoom in, I believe. But yeah, my screen is maximized on my side here.
Okay. Maybe in the bottom right, they can open it up themselves in the bottom right-hand corner.
Okay. So it seems like some people can see it fine. Yeah. So this gives a visual representation of where the mailboxes are. And what a lot of people don't realize is just how redundant the Office 365 environment is. And this is where the active mailbox resides. So Microsoft spreads the mailboxes out across, at least in the U.S., these 4 data centers, and I think there's a couple more now. And your active mailbox lives in one, and then I think your secondary mailboxes live in others. So it's a very redundant setup. And it's a question that we often get asked by our own customers. Where does my data live? And this just gives you a visual representation, and it just shows how redundant the Microsoft systems are. That in San Francisco, there's 10 mailboxes, and spread out across 7 different servers. So let's move on to the Office 365 users next. The Office 365 users, for those of you who are familiar with Office 365, this is the underlying accounts that exist in Office 365. And this is kind of the first list view that we have. We have several list views. We have several actions that can be performed against those lists. So if we click on an account here, you can bring up additional details on this. And for those of you that are familiar with PowerShell, you'll recognize that a lot of this information is the output that would be returned from the get-msol user. So instead of having to go into PowerShell to see if, the credential is blocked, you could just come in here, click on the user. You could also, there's some additional details in here, such as, is it a BlackBerry user? Do they have a license? When was the last time the DirSync was ran? This is not a DirSync account, so it really doesn't apply. And then what type of license do they have? So all of these lists that you're going to see, they're all sortable. You can type in a name and figure out and find the users that apply that name, figure out what types of licenses are in use, things like that. So around the users, the first action, I guess, we have for the user accounts is the ability to set passwords. And we recognize that this is something that can be done through the Office 365 portal today. But the limitation of the portal is that when you reset a user's password, it doesn't give you any options. It basically makes you accept a default password, which has to be changed at the first logon. So what we do in our system is you can set the password to a value that you want, and then we also allow you to, control whether the user must change their password at first logon, and then we also allow you to set the options for that password. And the other thing that we allow you to do is set it in bulk. So if we just click Apply Changes here, you should see that these two accounts will be reset to the same value, set the password never to expire, set the user must change password at first logon flag as well. So this is actually this is establishing a PowerShell connection to Office 365 in the background and performing these password resets. And then you do get a success notification when it is complete. Okay. So that's kind of the user objects. Now as we get into the mailboxes, on this screen, the initial table just lists information such as the email address, the last logon, the mailbox size, and then some information about the quotas. Again, this list is sortable, so if we wanted to search based on last logon, we could do that. If we wanted to find the biggest mailbox in the environment, we could do that as well. And like the other lists, if you wanted to click on details, you could get that as well. So, for example, in this case, you can click on the object, get the SMTP addresses, get the SIP address. You can see what server and database they're on. You can see additional information about the quotas. And again, this is all a lot of this information you would have to go into PowerShell to get. So we're making it easier just to go to one place and pull up some of this common information that you would otherwise have to get through PowerShell. Okay. So the next thing, so this, let's see, it looks like my sharing got disconnected here.
Chad, you got it?
My sharing was temporarily stopped there. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. So let me go ahead and...
Yeah, maybe you could get the share. I'm going to try and do it again right now, but yeah, for whatever reason, my...
Why don't you go ahead and try it one more time?
Okay, yeah, doing that now.
If not, I'll go ahead and log it up.
Okay, sounds good. Just trying to load it again. Sorry, everybody. Okay, looks like it's back here. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, so we were talking about, so the list mailbox details is really about the size of the mailbox, the size of the archive, things like that. The list exchange users is more about the mailbox object itself and not necessarily the contents. So here we just have, what type of mailboxes they are, where they're located, and again, you can click on the mailbox to get additional details. And like a lot of the other details, this is essentially information that's returned from the get-mailbox command in Office 365. So again, we find this useful for troubleshooting user issues. Instead of having to launch PowerShell, run the commands to get connected, just to look at somebody's mailbox, you can log into 365 command, find the user, click on them, and then access the information that you would otherwise have to get through 365 or through PowerShell. And I guess we'll get to the reports eventually, but a lot of this can be exported. If you wish to export some of this information, you are able to do that through the reporting section, which we'll get to later in the presentation. And that's really, this is a big one, the list mailbox permissions. This is another one where, again, you can quickly see who has access to whose mailbox, full access. And I think you can bring up some additional details too, but the typical way people go about this, I guess, is in the report section, so they can export it. But still, if you wanted to see who has access to, say, for example, Chad Mossman's mailbox, you could quickly look here and see that all these people have full access to Chad Mossman's mailbox. So now we'll get into some actions around the mailboxes. And one of the common things that we find ourselves doing is creating shared mailboxes. So as you know, with Office 365 today, you have to run some PowerShell commands to create shared mailboxes, or you have to download this little PowerShell script from Microsoft. So what we've done here is just created a simple GUI interface that allows you to create the shared mailboxes. And again, this is another thing where we are running a live PowerShell command in the background. A lot of the lists that we've seen up to that point, we're pulling that out of out of a database, so it's very quick to respond. Oh yeah, and I just see a question. Yeah, the send as is something that we are absolutely very high on our priority list in the list mailbox permissions. So creating a shared mailbox, what we're doing here is we're actually connecting to PowerShell, and then we're issuing the commands to create the shared mailbox, setting the quotas for a shared mailbox. So this process can sometimes take 30 seconds to a minute, and then you can see it successfully created the mailbox. So the next thing that we'll often want to do when creating a shared mailbox is you have to give people access to the shared mailbox. And that's what this screen is really all about, granting people access to mailboxes. And it doesn't have to be a shared mailbox. This could be, you know, say the CEO's mailbox, and you want to give their assistant full access. So in this case, I'll just use that shared mailbox that we created, and just add a couple users to that. So you can see, and we could add multiple shared mailboxes on the left, multiple users on the right, and then when we click apply permissions, it will go through and actually grant these users permissions for the shared mailbox, or for any mailbox for that matter. So again, this is something that currently requires PowerShell to do, kind of two separate commands, one for the full mailbox, another for the send as. So to do this, you would have had to run two commands for chad.mossman, two commands for chadmvp to grant permissions on that mailbox. So the other kind of common scenario is, well, I don't want to give full access to the entire mailbox. We just want to give access to a folder on the mailbox. And, you know, we want to do it centrally without doing it through Outlook, basically, because this could be done through Outlook, but sometimes you don't want to bother the user by going to their Outlook. So here we can pull up the existing users that have access to the mailbox, and we could add new users to that. We could also modify the existing permissions on the mailbox. I don't know if you can see all that, but that's if you want to give folder specific information. And one thing that we're working on, just kind of a future release, is that right now we've just got the default folders listed here. In the future, we're looking to add kind of where you'll be able to do this on any one of the folders. So, okay, so as we continue down the actions.
Hey, Chad, a quick question. I know a couple of them coming in. Richard wanted to know, what are the security requirements that we have to have in place for you to carry out these commands on our tenant?
So we need a global administrator account on the tenant. So, yeah.
All right, great. Thank you.
Yep, and we proxy all those requests through that account. Okay, so on to the mailbox forwarders. Again, this is a fairly simple operation, but pretty common in a lot of environments where somebody is possibly out on vacation, or you just want to send a copy of messages that arrive in one mailbox to another user. So again, we can just select the users. Say, okay. Say forward all the mail that comes into this to this, and click the set forwarder. And yeah, you can see it goes out to Office 365, sets the forwarder. And to remove a forwarder, it's just as easy. Just check the remove forwarder, click it, and you can see that we removed the forwarder. So we've got a lot more actions planned, but this is just some of the things that you can do with it. Okay, so as we move into groups, right now we allow you to see the groups, and when you click on the groups, we bring up a lot of the properties that you would otherwise have to get through PowerShell, such as managed by, whether it has moderators enabled, who's it moderated by, the max send size. All this information we're getting back through PowerShell. We've got a lot on the roadmap for groups in general, so I guess stay tuned for that. Mobile devices. Again, this is a lot of list type information, and there's some additional information in the reports section that will show you, along with some examples. So if you can click on the users, you can see, what iOS they're using, for example. When was the last time it was synchronized? Things like that. Again, all PowerShell details that we find helpful in troubleshooting. I mean, one of the big things that we've seen on multiple occasions is like the device OS. I mean, I'm sure some of you are familiar with a recent bug in I think it was iOS 6.1.1. That just wreaked havoc on some of our customers around calendaring. So with a system like this, and specifically once we get into the reports, you could see kind of all the users that are running that version of the iOS, and then contact them and tell them to update their device or possibly shut off their device to stop it from causing problems. So the next item is the reports section, and you can see here we've got quite a few different reports. We're not going to be able to go into all of them, but I'll just show you some of the highlights, I guess. Let's see. I mean, probably one of the most common reports is just a mailbox size report. This isn't anything really that fancy, but it does show you your top 10 mailboxes, and it shows you the size of all the mailboxes in the tenant. And these reports, most of these reports can be exported to PDF, CSV, or an Excel file. So if your manager wanted a report of the mailbox sizes in the environment, you could click on the PDF link and send her that list very easily.
Hey, Chad. A quick question. Larry asked a question. Are there any plans to add the ability to recover, restore mailboxes? Larry's got a Federated mailboxes, and he's unable to recover a mailbox if AD account is deleted. I don't think we've been asked that before. Is there any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think that there's a way. We've actually had some customers do that, and it's a very difficult process, and we have been, without restoring the Active Directory account in the local Active Directory, it's difficult. If anybody knows how to do it without restoring the Active Directory account, we could probably implement it in this. But we've looked at it because we can see them through PowerShell, but we've been unable to figure out how to get it hooked up to a different account. So that one would be difficult to do.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
So, okay, so yeah, the mailbox size, let's just see here. I'll go down to some of the security ones. Like external forwarding is a common one that our customers ask for a lot, just for auditing and compliance purposes. They want to know what mailboxes are forwarding to mailboxes outside of their organization. And in this case, you can access that information with just a click of a button here. So in this case, you can see that John Chivarelli is forwarding to his Gmail address. So, as the IT compliance officer, you might want to go and ask John why are you forwarding your mail? So even if they set this up in OA, even if the user goes in and sets this up in OA, we'll still be able to report on it in here, and then allow you to quickly check that on a regular basis. The password options is another interesting one that security and compliance officers would probably be interested in. And what this shows is, okay, who has passwords that never expire, and then which accounts have a strong password required. So you can see in this example, we have 31 accounts that have never expiring passwords, 15 that expire. So again, as the compliance officer, you could run this report on a monthly basis, check the ones that are set to never expire, verify that those accounts should actually be set to never expire.
Hey, Chad, a couple questions. Richard asks, is there any report for an unused mailbox, meaning a mailbox that hasn't been logged in for 3 months, for example? I know that we can show that right there, mailbox login times.
Yeah. So this is the kind of the last logon date that we pull from Office 365. So yeah, you can see, I guess the oldest ones are listed highest. So if they haven't logged in a long time, they're listed at the top. That's what we have now. We have some other interesting ideas where we could take that a step further, and actually check for the out of office and things like that to get a lot more details about the mailboxes. So let's see here. Yeah, this device details report, I talked about this one earlier. There's several reports like this in the reporting section where it's essentially kind of all the information that we can pull out of Office 365 about the device. So you can see that this really doesn't look that great on the screen. This is one where you'd probably want to export it to Excel and then filter it down. So like the example I mentioned where we use this one a lot is, determining like what mobile device OS they have. So like iOS 6.1.2, and then you could figure out who that's associated with when you scroll all the way over to this column here, with the email address. So we just decided to, kind of create some of these reports where we just gather as much information as we can about the devices, about the users, dump it out, and then people will be able to go into Excel and get the information that they actually need or that they want. So
I think just to comment on that, Chad, I think the whole mobile device management, our whole community of 1,000 plus users, it's one of the things that's really high on their priority list. So we're definitely working on that, and should be, have some news shortly. Chad, there's a few questions that are coming in, that I would just want to go ahead and maybe just bring up while it's fresh on everybody's mind.
Okay.
The first one is from Ricky. He says, is it possible to set a different expiry length for different users. He says, I know I can stop expiration for some users, but would like some to be on a shorter days than others as far as expiration. Is that possible through command?
Not that, no, it's not possible through command, and I also don't believe it's possible through Office 365. I know you can now control the overall password expiration for the organization. That was something, I forget when they implemented it. I think it used to be 90 days or nothing, but I think now you can go up to 720 days. But I don't think you can set that on a user-by-user basis in Office 365 directly.
Okay. All right. Well, another question from Daniel. He says, is there any plan to do a kind of synchronization for small users that can set up ABFS or DirSync, something similar like Win 2012 ESS?
Someone that can't set up ABFS.
Yeah. I would say we don't have any. I would like to hear more about that and kind of what he would envision there. But I would say I would possibly look at our password synchronization utility. If they're a smaller company and don't want to implement ADFS, because the password sync doesn't give all the features of ADFS, but it is used by a lot of smaller organizations just to keep their passwords in sync.
Yeah, absolutely. Our password synchronization tool is very popular. A lot of people utilize it, and I see that Mike also mentioned a product called One Login as well. So there's a few suggestions for that. Another question, Cynthia asked, can you change a federated mailbox to a shared mailbox?
Can you change that a federated mailbox to a shared mailbox?
Yeah.
Not at this time, no.
Okay.
But that is a request that we've received from multiple people. Just basically creating just converting mailboxes to and from shared mailbox type. So
great.
Definitely on our list.
And Richard asked, can this tool move items from one mailbox to another?
No, not at this time. That would be no, not at this time. Yeah. We really haven't got into. I'll say this tool, our Exchange Migrator tool, really deals with the movement of messages, but I'll say it is possible that we could do that at some point. Not really on the roadmap right now, I guess.
All right.
To do live data moves between mailboxes.
Okay.
But it's good. It's not a bad idea.
Thanks for the questions, guys. Keep them coming in. We're gaining a lot of great to-dos to add to the list, so we appreciate it. So, yeah. So I mean that's a quick overview of the application. I will just mention one other component that does come with the 365. That does come with the 365 command subscription, and that is the Active Directory add-in. I'm not really set up to do a demo of it today, but I'm going to go to our website real quick here and just kind of give you a brief overview of what this does. I mean, so essentially, the Active Directory add-on, it's something you download and install in your Active Directory. And it adds these custom tabs to the users in your local Active Directory. And through these custom tabs, you can perform actions such as activating user accounts in Office 365, assigning licenses in Office 365, but probably more importantly is that if you're running directory synchronization right now and you were previously running Exchange, sometimes, and you go to Office 365 to try and modify like the email addresses or something like that,
you get an error that says, you are being directory synchronized, you have to update these attributes in your local Active Directory. So for many people, that means you have to fire up a utility like ADSI edit or the attribute editor, and then enter in this information, which is, unless you've done it a lot before, it can be confusing because it's not always obvious what attribute you need to modify. So we've developed this to make it easier to just modify these attributes right through Active Directory users and computers. So, and again, I wish I could demo this, but I just really wasn't set up to do it today. So I'll just go through some of the tabs. Probably the most common tab would be just the Exchange General tab, where you can, website's going a little slow here. Just add and remove proxy addresses, where, down here we list the proxy addresses. Up top you can add and remove them. You can also hide the account from the address list. All things that if you're directory synchronized and previously had Exchange, is somewhat difficult to do now. I see a question about how well does it work in a hybrid. Yeah, it works fine in a hybrid. What this is doing, a lot of these tabs are just modifying the attributes kind of behind the scenes. So most of these attributes, it shouldn't really matter that it's hybrid. It'll still, the directory synchronization will still synchronize them up to Office 365. So
Chad, this comes along with 365 Command.
That is correct. Yes.
Right. So
yeah,
I know
it's available now.
Yeah, it's available now, and so it's great. So it's something that does come with it. So people are asking, so it comes right along with it. If you just want to buy it separately without 365 Command, give us a call, and we can talk about that as well.
Yeah. So I see a question there about. Yeah, Thomas has a question that, the installer does only install the English version. But I think you could manually install it in different languages. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to modify the installer to include some different popular languages, because it's just it wouldn't be that difficult to do. I mean, the buttons would still be in English, so I guess that would be the more difficult part, where the tab names would be in English and the buttons would be in English, but we could get the tabs to display in different language in the different on installs where English isn't the language. So.
Hey, Chad, so it looks like we have a few partners on here. Jeff asked a question. What is the benefit to a managed service provider that have multiple domains to manage?
That's kind of at this point, that's a tough one to answer, because I would say there isn't a lot of benefit to it, because you would have to be on the Active Directory to really take advantage of this tool. One of the things that we've talked about doing is turning this into more of an agent that would sit on the local Active Directory and then connect up to Office 365. And then through the 365 command interface, allow you to interact with the local Active Directory. So that's something it's crossed our mind. I can't say, when something like that would be developed, but we think we think that might be the better way to go about this, especially for the people who are managing multiple environments. So. But yeah, right now it's
Yeah.
you would have to be on the local AD to get it to work. So.
Great. I know Pete's asked a question about partners and MSBs. Pete, we'd love to talk to you about our channel program and how other partners are working with us, but we have a lot of end users on the phone as well. I don't think it's a appropriate venue to do it right now. So give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about it. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll give you a call. We'll give you a call, Pete. I know you're a big partner, so very involved in the cloud space. So yeah, we'll definitely reach out.
Definitely do that. Okay.
I think that pretty much sums up the demo portion.
So there was a few questions around security and such, and we would like to address all of those with you. We just not on this call. I will just tell you that we're doing a lot around security, encryption, etc., and we'll gladly share that with you offline and to tell you what we're doing around security. Daniel asked the question, is Command 365 also available to support and manage all our customers with this as a central admin tool? Chad, why don't you go back in and just show for some of the people who are managing multiple clients, or we've had customers who have multiple companies that they've purchased, and how you can manage it all. So it's pretty easy. Right, Chad will show you right here.
Yeah. So you are if you are a partner or a managed service provider, you can manage all of your clients through one logon. And in this particular account, you can see that we have several of our clients loaded up here, and you can just quickly switch between the different tenants, and you will then be logged into their tenant. You can then run kind of the same reports, perform the same actions against those tenants as was demonstrated here. So I don't know how much detail we want to go into. I would say that maybe we could have a partner call some other time and just kind of show you the different options, because there's several ways that you load your clients into it, and there's just a lot more to the partner program. I think for all the partners, we will be having a partner program, so the partner video and webinar to show you. But yes, the answer is yes. I tell you, Jeff, I'm sorry, Chad, it's great because we got a tremendous amount of great suggestions here today on how to make the product better. Speaking of that, that's the next poll that we want to ask the group that's on board here. We have a lot in plans and a lot on the that our developers are working on. But we'd like to ask you a question. What would you like to see in the next release? Would you like to see more admin functions, more reporting functions, monitoring of the actual site, archiving, mobile device, or SharePoint admin? Okay. So, all right. So we okay, so it looks pretty interesting here. So far we got more admin functions, definitely coming up with more administrative functions. Mobile device management in a strong second place there, which is great, and the archiving as well. SharePoint administration, okay, great. Yeah, that's definitely one area that we're looking to take this is into the next release of Office 365. Well, there's going to be a lot more that we can do around SharePoint and Link. So those are two areas that we're hoping to expand out into.
I love Mino, man. Please, more SharePoint admin. So we're definitely working on it. We have a whole team of developers on that piece as well. As far as the more admin functions, with the community that we have, everybody is so generous with their thoughts on how to make it better. There's a tremendous amount of admin functions, reporting functions that are coming up as well. So we're definitely working on that. A couple questions came in about Wave 15 and have we prepared for Wave 15. With the pre-release of Wave 15, we have absolutely tested 365 Command against it. We have worked with Microsoft and showed them. There was a couple little bugs, but nothing of major consequence that we haven't already fixed. Right? Any other comments on that, Chad?
No, yeah, I would say we feel pretty comfortable. Obviously, we've done all of our testing against, I guess, the preview accounts that we have. So as long as the preview account is, comparable to the actual account that, when it's released, then I don't think we'll have any problems. For the most part, the PowerShell commands have stayed the same. So.
The only other thing I would say is we're a Microsoft ISV partner with it, so we have been working with Microsoft, and they are very familiar with the product and are supporting it wholeheartedly. And nobody from that group has said anything that, to check this or check that. So it seems like it should be there. But time will tell, but if there is a bug, we'll get right on it right away. Nino asked, we would like to set mailbox language and time zone. Is that possible, Chad?
That is possible, and that's I think I saw a question come across previously about almost creating a template.
Yes.
You could, when you're creating these mailboxes, you could apply a template to them, such as language, time zone, quotas. I'm trying to think what else, like what protocols you want enabled. Like you could disable. Maybe you only want them to access it through OA. Maybe you only want them to access it through POP or something like that. So the idea of a template system for like mailboxes, I think would be a great idea. And it's something that it would be possible to develop, and several people have requested it. So.
Yeah, there's no doubt, especially from the audience here. It seems like it's something that could be useful for sure. Can you set the size of a mailbox? Laura wanted to know as well. That just came up for personal or shared.
Well, for personal, that's currently something that we have to do through the Active Directory add-in or the Active Directory extensions. So you can set quotas through that Active Directory extensions program.
Mm-hmm. Great. Sorry, Daniel asked, can you please put in the link to this AD attribute tool? So if you go to 365command.com.
To get to it, you have to go into your account management area, and then right down here, actually, sorry, nobody can see my screen anymore. So if you sign into 365 Command and then go into the account management area, there's a link on that account management area that says 365 Command Active Directory Extensions. And that will allow you to download the application.
Okay, that's great. We'll go ahead and, Daniel, we have your contact information. We'll go ahead and email you that link, okay, Daniel? And I see that Laura, Laura had a question regarding Sean. Did you see this question here from Sean? Can you change the UPN for a user with this? We have had typos during user setup with DirSync turned on.
That's another thing that's something else that currently has to be done through the Active Directory extensions. So with the Active Directory extensions, we can do it. We can change the UPN value. And then that also updates the primary email address. So right now it requires Active Directory extensions.
Okay. That's great. Okay, we're coming up on the time. I think we're shooting for 3. We still got a few more minutes left. I see still there's a couple people typing here. One of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be letting everybody know about who won. We're going to be doing the drawing for the Microsoft Surface. We're not going to be doing that live, but we will make an announcement and send emails out to everybody with the winner, and we'll go from there. Andrew, great comment here. Andrew said, please make the number of returned items in lists larger than 25 to 100. Okay. So, I see what you're saying there, Andrew. So, Chad, do you see what Andrew asked? Please make the number of returned items in lists larger than 25 to 100. Larger than 25, he wants to know. I think we could do that. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Michael, you did hear something about a drawing for a Surface. We're going to be doing that right after the call, and we'll be sending out an email to all of the participants on today's call. Those who've had the audio trouble and those who didn't, we apologize for those who did, and we'll be sending that out probably before the end of the day. DM says, will we have the capability to modify groups?
Modifying groups is somewhat, I'll say somewhat challenging, just because I guess, well, if you're a directory synced customer, then most of your group management will be done in your local Active Directory. So you would have to modify the groups in your local Active Directory. And then with directory sync, that group membership modification would come up to the cloud. Now, if you're not using directory synchronization, then yeah, then we could then we could do it. But it does not exist today. So I guess what we've seen is we're trying to prioritize all these features, and what we're seeing is that about 90% of our customers are running directory synchronization.
Yeah.
So we're trying to prioritize this based on, I guess try and get the most bang for the buck, so to speak, with these feature requests. And while we could give people the ability to add groups, and we probably will at some time. We probably will add that at some time and allow you to modify the groups. It's just that most of the people seem to be managing their groups through their local Active Directory. So that's kind of our thought. But, well, but I think it is something as we expand the product, we definitely see this as hopefully the one place where you'll be able to go to create users, create groups, modify groups, do the licensing, and get, hopefully limit the amount of time that you actually have to kind of sign into two places. One being the Office 365 portal, the other one being 365 Command portal. So.
Okay. Well, everybody, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today. I think we kept it to an hour. We see a lot of questions. I see Daniel still, logging in, setting up. Daniel, we're going to reach out to you and ask. We're going to answer as many questions as you have, so we appreciate all the questions. We appreciate the activity today, and more than anything, we really appreciate your support of 365 Command as we take this to market. Just great, and we appreciate it a lot. And again, I regret the inconvenience for some of the people who had challenges with the audio. We will be sending out the recording to everybody who signed up today. Chad, great job. Thank you, sir. And thank you, everybody. And good luck and enjoy your day.